China's landscape holds layers of history that remain only partially understood. Beneath cities, deserts, and river valleys lie discoveries that continue to challenge historians and archaeologists. Some were found by accident, others through decades of study. These are 15 of China's most mysterious discoveries. Let's start with number 15. Wanmengwan. Wanmengwan, also known as the Old Summer Palaces in northwest of Beijing, is a vast complex of palaces and gardens that was built in the 18th and 19th centuries. Wanmengwan, which translates to Garden of the Perfect Brightness, was a place known for its stunning beauty and a unique blend of Chinese and Western styles. Work on it began during the reign of the Kangxi Emperor and was expanded by his successors. The Qianlong Emperor, in particular, took a keen interest in the development of the palace, transforming it into a masterpiece of landscape design. This complex covered an area of around 860 acres and included hundreds of buildings, artificial lakes, hills, and a large collection of art. While primarily a royal retreat, it was also designed to be a repository of countless cultural and artistic treasures. The palace housed an extensive collection of paintings, calligraphy, ceramics, and other artifacts, many of which were unique masterpieces. Wanmengwan, though, wouldn't last for long, and in 1860, during the Second Opium War, British and French troops looted and burned the palace in retaliation for the mistreatment of their envoys. Its destruction was a significant cultural loss, and it's remembered as a symbol of foreign aggression and humiliation in Chinese history. Today, much of Wanmengwan has been recovered, and researchers are often discovering new, long-forgotten buildings and artifacts in the grounds. It's a hugely important cultural and historical site, and attracts visitors from all over to get a glimpse of what it must have once been like. Number 14. The Oracle Bones. The oracle bones are some of the earliest known forms of Chinese writing and can be traced all the way back to the ancient Shang dynasty that ruled between around 1600 to 1046 BCE. These artifacts, usually made from the flat undersides of turtle shells or the shoulder blades of oxen, were used for divination purposes. What's most important, though, is that the inscriptions on the bones are among the earliest examples of Chinese script, making them invaluable to historians. The use of oracle bones for divination involved a highly ritualized process. Diviners would write questions on the bones or shells, often about a matter of state, warfare, agriculture, or even royal family matters. These questions were typically directed to royal ancestors or deities, seeking guidance or predictions. And then the diviners would then apply heat to the bones using a hot rod until they cracked. The patterns of the resulting cracks were interpreted as answers from the spirits, and these interpretations were often inscribed on the bones alongside the original questions. The bones, therefore, provide a huge amount of information about the political, social, and religious practices of the Shang dynasty. They reveal, for example, that the Shang kings were deeply concerned with agricultural success, military campaigns, and even their health and well-being. The study of the oracle bone script has provided linguists with some crucial insights into the evolution of Chinese characters, shedding light on how they transformed from simple pictographs to the more abstract forms used in later periods. The discovery of these oracle bones in the late 19th and early 20th was a significant breakthrough. For centuries, these bones had been unearthed by farmers who ground them into a powder believed to have medicinal properties. The largest collection of them was found at the site of Yin, the last capital of the Shang dynasty, near modern-day Anyang in Hainan province. Number 13. Jinsha. Jinsha is an archaeological site in the western suburbs of Chengdu, Sichuan province. It was discovered in 2001. Jinsha has provided some insights into the ancient Shu civilization, which thrived during the late Shang and early Western Zhou periods, around 3,000 years ago. The site has uncovered a number of artifacts and remains that have dramatically reshaped our understanding of the early Chinese history and culture, and the discovery was completely accidental. Construction workers unearthed the site while digging for a real estate development, revealing a buried treasure trove of artifacts, including gold, jade, bronze, ivory, and stone objects. Among the most important finds were a gold foil sunbird, which has become an iconic symbol of Jinsha, and a collection of intricately crafted jade pieces. The sunbird in particular is celebrated for its exquisite craftsmanship, representing the advanced metallurgical skills of the Shu people. Excavations here have revealed large-scale settlements with distinct functional areas, including a residential zone, ceremonial center, and burial grounds. The religious and cosmological aspects of Jinsha are clear to see in the artifacts. Many objects, such as the bronze standing figures, suggest a society deeply engaged in ritual practices and nature worship. The importance of solar motifs in their art shows a reverence for the sun, which likely played a central role in their religious beliefs. Today, the Jinsha Site Museum on the excavation site preserves these incredible artifacts. It continues to be a focal point for archaeological research, providing ongoing insights into the mysterious and rich heritage of the ancient Sichuan. Number 12. The Longmen Grottos. The Longmen Grottos, located near Luoyang in Henan Province, are one of the most impressive collections of Chinese Buddhist art and an incredible example of early Chinese rock carving. Carved into the cliffs along the banks of the Yi River, these grottos, also known as the Longmen Caves, house tens of thousands of Buddhist statues, carvings, and inscriptions, showcasing a level of artistry during various dynastic periods. The construction of the grottos began around 1,500 years ago during the Northern Wei dynasty, a time when Buddhism was flourishing in China. These grottos stretch for almost a mile and contain more than 2,300 caves and niches, over 1,000 Buddhist images, approximately 2,800 inscriptions, and 60 pagodas. The carvings range from tiny statuettes measuring just a few inches to enormous figures over 56 feet or 17 meters tall, with an impressive variety. One particular note is the Fengjian Temple, which is a large open-air shrine created during the Tang dynasty, under the patronage of Emperor Gaozong and Empress Wu Zetian. The centerpiece is a colossal statue of Arakana Buddha, which is a figure with a serene and dignified expression, is seen as a masterpiece of Tang sculpture. The inscriptions found in the caves offer valuable data on various topics, including the names of donors, religious practices, and historical events. These inscriptions are crucial for historians studying the evolution of Buddhism in China and the societal structures of the Northern Wei and Tang dynasties. Even though the site has suffered damage over the centuries from natural erosion, human neglect, and looting, the Longmen Grottos remain remarkably well preserved. Efforts have been made to protect it and restore this UNESCO World Heritage Site, ensuring its cultural and historical treasures are safeguarded for future generations. Number 11. The Lingkou Canal. The Lingkou Canal is one of the world's oldest canals, and it can be found in the Jing'an County of Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. First built during the Qin dynasty in 214 BCE, the main idea was for it to enable the transportation of military supplies during the unification of China under Emperor Kixingwang. The canal connects the Jiang River, which flows into the Yangtze, with the Li River, a tributary of the Pearl River, creating a crucial link between two of China's most significant rivers. The canal's around 22 miles or about 36 kilometers long, and the completion of it was an incredible feat for its time and incorporates unique design with a combination of man-made channels and natural waterways, featuring sluice gates, dams, and locks to control the water flow. Probably the cleverest thing about the canal is the use of a Luandam system, which allows for the management of water levels and the movement of boats across different sections of the canal. This water management system not only made navigation possible, but it also contributed to the irrigation of surrounding farmlands. It had huge effects in the development of the country by strengthening the military and economic control of the Qin dynasty over southern China. It was also important too in the subsequent consolidation of power by the Qin and later dynasties, and it aided in the integration and development of southern territories. Number 10. The Bells of Marquis of Zhang. The bells of Marquis of Zhang, or often referred to as the Zhenghui bells, are a fascinating discovery that has taught us about the music, culture, and technological achievements of the Warring States period between 475 and 221 BCE. Unearthed in 1978, the bells formed part of a grand set of bronze musical instruments. The discovery was a remarkable find for several reasons. The tomb itself, dating back to around 433 BCE, belonged to a lesser-known marquis of the state of Zhang, which was a small entity during the Warring States period. The tomb contained a huge number of artifacts, including weapons, ritual vessels, and lacquerware, but it was the set of 65 bronze bells that captured the most attention. These bells are organized into three sets. The cattle bells, the smaller or clapperless bells, and the ones known as bianzong or chime of bells. The largest bell weighs over 440 pounds or 200 kilograms, while the smallest weighs just a few pounds. Each bell can produce two distinct pitches depending on where it is struck, allowing for a total of 120 different notes, and this dual-tone capability is unique to the shape and precise casting of these bells. The bells were likely used in court rituals and ceremonies, reflecting their importance in the social and political life of the period, and music played a critical role in ancient Chinese statecraft and religious practices too, often seen as a means of communication with the divine. The bells' designs, including dragons and phoenix imagery, further stress their ritualistic significance and the high status of the marquee. Today, the bells are housed in the Hubei Provincial Museum, where they remain a centerpiece of the Chinese cultural heritage. The bells are played occasionally during special exhibitions, allowing people to experience their beautiful tones firsthand. Number 9. The Mogao Caves. The Mogao Caves, also known as the Thousand Buddha Grottos, are the network of Buddhist cave temples located in the Gansu province. The caves were first carved 1,600 years ago and continued to be developed through to the 14th century, during which time they evolved into a major pilgrimage site. The origins of the caves are shrouded in myth and legend. According to tradition, a monk named Li Sun had a vision of 1,000 Buddhas bathed in golden light, inspiring him to begin carving the first cave in 366 CE. This began the tradition of cave excavation. They were carved into the cliffs of the Mingsha Mountains, creating a sanctuary for the monks, pilgrims, and artisans who wanted to express their devotion. The caves are made up of 492 cells and sanctuaries, covering a wide variety of sizes and designs. The murals here cover almost 500,000 square feet or over 45,000 square meters and depict scenes from the life of the Buddha, Jataka tales, various bodhisattvas, and intricate mandalas. Early caves display the influence of Indian and Central Asian art, with their flowing lines and expressive figures. As Chinese Buddhism developed, the art evolved to incorporate more distinctly Chinese elements. The Tang dynasty was a golden age for the Mogao caves, with an explosion of artistic activity that produced some of the most exquisite murals and sculptures. One of the most important discoveries here at these caves, however, was the Library Cave, which was sealed in the 11th century and it was rediscovered in 1900 by a Taoist monk. Inside, researchers found tens of thousands of manuscripts, printed texts, and silk paintings, many of which are now housed in museums and libraries around the world. These documents, which include Buddhist scriptures, historical records, literature, and various other texts, provide incredible insights into the religious, cultural, and history of the region. Number 8. Banpo Neolithic Village. The Banpo Neolithic Village, which is near Xi'an in the Shaanxi province, is a hugely important site from the Neolithic period, dating back to around 6,000 or 7,000 years ago. Discovered in 1953, Banpo provides an amazing look at early human settlement and culture in China, from the lifestyles to the technological advancements, even the social structures of one of the earliest agrarian societies. The site covers an area of about 530,000 square feet or about 50,000 square meters and includes residential, communal, and burial areas. Excavations have revealed artifacts and structural remnants that give a good idea of the daily life and organization of its residents. The residential areas got around 45 semi-subterranean houses arranged in a circular pattern around a central communal space. The roofs were likely made of thatch or reeds supported by wooden beams, and this design provided insulation against cold in winter and kept the interiors cool in the summer. The village also had a network of trenches that directed rainwater away from preventing flooding and erosion, and this is an early example of urban planning that shows the ingenuity of the Banpo people. Agriculture too was hugely important in their society, and the villagers cultivated millet as their primary crop, which was a staple of their diet. Evidence of domesticated animals such as pigs, dogs, and chickens has also been found, indicating a mixed farming economy. Banpo is really famous for its pottery, which includes functional and decorative pieces. The pottery has intricate painted designs, often featuring geometric patterns, animals, and human figures. Pottery items such as bowls, jars, and cooking vessels were not only functional but also served as a medium for cultural expression and communication. The discovery of this place has had a large impact on the study of Chinese prehistory. It's provided a comprehensive view of Neolithic life, highlighting the transition from nomadic hunting-gathering to settled farming communities. Today, the site is preserved as the Banpo Museum, which was opened in 1958, and it houses many of the artifacts uncovered during excavations. Number 7. The Shenshengdui Ruins. The Shenshengdui Ruins, located in Guangdong City in the Sichuan province, was unearthed in the 1980s and have dramatically changed our understanding of ancient Chinese culture and civilization, revealing the existence of a highly developed and sophisticated culture that flourished around 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. The discovery of Shenshengdui was purely by chance, and before then, no one knew it existed. In 1929, a farmer accidentally unearthed a cache of jade artifacts while repairing an irrigation ditch. It wasn't until the 1980s, though, that full excavations began, leading to the discovery of 2 pits filled with an astonishing array of artifacts, including bronze, jade, gold, and pottery. One of the most important aspects of the ruins is the quality of the craftsmanship of the bronze artifacts. The bronzes are large and have intricate designs featuring human figures, animals, and fantastic creatures. Among the most famous pieces is an 8.5-foot or 2.6-meter tall bronze tree with birds and flowers that's to be a representation of a cosmological tree. Another amazing find is the large bronze heads with exaggerated facial features, including prominent eyes, ears, and mouths. These heads, some of which are life-size, have a stylized and almost surreal aesthetic that's very different from the Shang Dynasty bronzes found in the Yellow River Basin. The discovery of large quantities of jade, a material highly valued in ancient China, indicates their wealth and status and their well-connected trade networks. Gold artifacts, though less common, have been found too, with the most unusual being a gold scepter and gold mask. Today, the Shenshengdui site is preserved and showcased in a museum, which was opened in 1997. The museum houses most of the artifacts discovered at the site and serves as a center for ongoing research. Number 6. Zhaohe. Zhaohe is an ancient ruined city that's in the Uyghur Autonomous Region and is one of the most interesting archaeological sites along the Silk Road. Built along the Arnez River about 6.2 miles to the west of the modern city of Turpan, Zhaohe thrived from the 2nd century BCE until its abandonment in the 14th century. Its history dates back to the early Han Dynasty, when it served as the capital of the Juche Kingdom, one of many small states that were in the region. Zhaohe later became a significant garrison town under the Tang Dynasty and continued to thrive as a key part of the network for trade routes that made up the Silk Road. Its layout is unique among ancient cities. Built on a naturally fortified plateau, the city is divided by a central avenue that runs from north to south, with residential areas, administrative buildings, temples, and markets arranged. They were constructed using a technique called rammed earth, where layers of earth were compacted to form walls, which is a method that's well suited to the dry climate in the region. The city was home to a variety of religious communities, including Buddhists, Zoroastrians, and Christians, and that diversity can be seen in the number of temples and monasteries that have been excavated at the site. The presence of these religious structures proves that Zhaohe was a melting pot of cultures and a center of religious activity. The decline began in the late Tang Dynasty as a result of invasions and changing trade routes. By the time of the Mongol invasions in the 13th century, the city had already begun to lose its significance, and it was eventually abandoned in the 14th century. Now, Zhaohe is a well-preserved archaeological site, offering insights into the life and architecture of ancient Silk Road cities. In recognition of its historical and cultural significance, Zhaohe was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2014. This site is now a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world who come to explore its ancient streets and imagine the bustling lives of those who live there. Number 5. The Xian Bell Tower. The Xian Bell Tower, which is a historical landmark in the Shaanxi province, was first built in 1384 during the early Ming Dynasty. Since then, the structure has witnessed centuries of change. Its location in the heart of Xi'an, where the 4 main streets converge, shows how historically significant it has been as a center of urban planning. The construction of the bell tower was ordered by Emperor Zhu Wanzhong, the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty. Its function was vital to maintaining order and security within the city. The bell tower would be rung at dawn, while a nearby drum tower, built around the same time, would mark dusk, establishing a daily rhythm for the city's inhabitants. Architecturally, it is a great example of Ming Dynasty design. The structure stands on a square base, measuring 116 feet or 35 meters on each side. The tower itself rises to a height of 118 feet or about 36 meters, making an imposing presence in the city. The interior of the bell tower houses a large bronze bell, which was cast in the early 15th century. This bell, weighing over 6 tons, was used to mark the hours and signal events. Over the centuries, the bell tower has undergone several renovations and restorations to preserve its integrity. The most significant one happened in 1953 when the Chinese government undertook extensive repairs to restore the tower to its former glory. Number 4. The Taosi Observatory. Ancient cultures around the world had a surprisingly advanced understanding of the motion of objects in the heavens above us, and the people who lived in China were no different. The Taosi Observatory, located in the Shaanxi province, is one of the oldest known observatories in the world. The observatory was part of the Taosi site of the Longshan culture, and its discovery has provided valuable insights into the early development of astronomical knowledge here. The site was first discovered in 1970, but it wasn't until later excavations that the true significance of the observatory was realized. The site includes a large circular structure with an outer diameter of around 197 feet, or 60 meters. This structure is made up of 3 concentric circles of rammed earth, with a series of standing stones and post holes that show where wooden pillars once stood. The observatory is oriented so it aligns with the sunrise and sunset during the summer and winter solstices, and this precise alignment would have allowed ancient astronomers to track the changing seasons. The ability to predict solstices and equinoxes would have given the rulers and priests at Taosi significant control over agricultural cycles and religious ceremonies. The presence of the observatory here highlights the advanced understanding of astronomy possessed by the people of the Longshan culture, and the ability to integrate this knowledge into their daily lives. In addition, the site has produced a number of artifacts that provide a broader picture of their culture. These include pottery, jade, and bone tools, as well as evidence of complex societal structures and advanced craftsmanship. The site continues to be a focus of research and study, as archaeologists and historians work to uncover more details about the people who built and used this remarkable place. Number 3. The Yinshu Ruins. The Yinshu Ruins, which are near the modern city of Anyang in the Hainan province, are all that's left of Yin, the last capital of the Shang dynasty, which ruled from approximately 600 to 1046 BCE. Yinshu, meaning ruins of Yin, offer a glimpse into the early Chinese civilization. The site was first discovered in the late 19th century, but archaeological excavations only really began in the 1920s, which would then reveal the extent and richness of the site. Covering an area of around 11.5 square miles, it includes palaces, temples, royal tombs, and residential neighborhoods. One of the most remarkable findings here is the evidence of an early form of Chinese writing, which is the oldest known Chinese writing system and a precursor to modern Chinese characters. Yinshu has also become famous for its impressive royal tombs, particularly the tomb of Fu Hao, a queen and military leader. Discovered in 1976, Fu Hao's tomb was found intact, containing a wide array of burial goods, including bronze vessels, jade, ornaments, and weapons. These artifacts reflect the wealth and power of the Shang rulers and their complex practices. The bronze objects, in particular, demonstrate advanced metallurgical skills and artistic achievements. They, of course, wouldn't have been extremely valuable, and given an idea of their beliefs when it came to the afterlife, with them the need for wealth and weaponry to be close by for them to be able to take with them. The architecture of the wider site shows a high level of urban planning and construction techniques. It includes the remnants of large palace complexes, with the foundations showing the use of rammed earth and wooden structures, typical of ancient Chinese architecture. Along with its historical and cultural importance, Yinshu has also died into our understanding of ancient Chinese astronomy and calendar systems. Inscriptions include references to celestial events, such as solar eclipses, which were meticulously recorded and used to develop an early calendar. Today, the ruins are recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it continues to be a focus of archaeological research. The museum located nearby houses many of the artifacts found at the site, and it provides educational exhibits about the Shang dynasty and its contributions to Chinese civilization. Number 2. The Daming Palace. The Daming Palace, which is in the city of Xi'an in the Shaanxi province, was the imperial palace complex of the Tang dynasty, and it served as the political heart of China during one of its most prosperous eras. Covering an area of over 1.2 square miles, it was the largest palace complex in the world at the time, being even larger than the famous Forbidden City in Beijing. The construction began in 634 during the reign of Emperor Taizong, and was initially intended as a summer palace. However, it was completed under his successor, Emperor Gaozong, and soon became the primary residence of the Tang emperors. The palace was made up of numerous halls, pavilions, gardens, and courtyards, showcasing the architectural techniques and aesthetic of the Tang dynasty. The most significant buildings here included the Hanwan Hall, where emperors held court and conducted state affairs, the Xuanjing Hall, where daily governmental activities took place, and the Zichen Hall, which served as the emperor's private residence. Hanwan Hall is the most imposing structure in the complex. This was the site of important ceremonies, including New Year celebrations and the reception of foreign dignitaries. Its features, such as the wide stone staircase and the massive bronze pillars, were designed to convey the strength and stability of the Tang state. The palace gardens, with their artificial lakes, rockeries, and lush greenery, were masterpieces of landscape architecture too, showing the dynasty's commitment to cultural intellectual pursuits. The palace also played a critical role in the administration of cultural life, and it was not the only political nerve center, but it was a place of cultural exchange and innovation. The Tang dynasty is often regarded as a golden age Chinese civilization marked by significant advancements in poetry, painting, and technology, and the palace witnessed the flourishing of these arts. The Daming Palace did face destruction and decline in the centuries following the Tang dynasty, however, and it was eventually abandoned and fell into ruins. Extensive excavations in the 20th and 21st centuries have, though, unearthed substantial remnants of the palace complex, providing invaluable insights into its original layout. Today, the site of the palace has been turned into a heritage park, preserving the ruins and offering a glimpse into the past. The park features reconstruction sections of the palace, museums, and interactive exhibits, which allow you to explore the history and culture of this dynasty. Number 1. The Terracotta Army. Possibly the most famous archaeological discovery that's ever been made in China, but still one of the most mysterious, is the Terracotta Army. It's an enormous collection of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, and they were all buried with him around 2,200 years ago. The discovery of it was purely by accident when, in 1974, local farmers digging a well unearthed fragments of these terracotta figures, which led to an extensive archaeological excavation. What emerged from these efforts was an astonishing underground complex covering approximately 215,000 square feet, or 20,000 square meters. The site included 3 main pits, containing more than 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, and 670 horses, each life-sized and individually crafted with distinct features and details. The figures were originally painted in bright colors, though much of the paint has faded over time, and despite this, the craftsmanship of these warriors remains clear, showcasing advanced artistic and technical skills of the artisans of this dynasty. Each figure was originally equipped with real weapons, including swords, spears, and crossbows, many of which have been preserved. The complex also includes the emperor's tomb, which remains unexcavated due to concerns about preserving its contents, but further excavation hasn't begun yet for fear of causing irreparable damage to what undoubtedly would be the greatest historical site ever. Beyond being mere artwork, it also provides insights into the military organization, technological advancements, and cultural practices of the Qin dynasty. The figures reflect the hierarchical structure of the military, with distinct units of infantry, cavalry archers, and charioteers, mirroring the organization of a real army. The discovery of it also reveals the power and influence of Qin Shi Huang, who unified China and laid the foundations for the imperial system that would dominate Chinese history for the next 2,000 years. Today, the Terracotta Army is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's one of China's most popular tourist attractions. The site's been transformed into a museum complex, where visitors can view the excavated pits and the restored figures. Together, these discoveries reveal a civilization both advanced and enigmatic. Each find answers certain questions, while raising many more. Time, erosion, and silence still guard much of their truth. And China's past remains far from fully uncovered.